Hey everybody, this is Roberta Lavador at the Pendleton Center for the Arts, and I wanted to share with you today a simple and quick way to make a really effective and great fitting mask. We are going to be creating a ton of these so that we have them available when we reopen our gallery. In case a customer or a patron doesn't have a mask, we'd like for them to keep our staff and everybody in our building safe. And so we'll be providing these to guests, and it's just really a nice design. So this one uses a material, this is actually a blue shop towel. These come in red, white, or blue, and it provides really wonderful filtration. They do a very nice job. This is it's called Wypall, W-Y-P-A-L-L. It's made by Kimberly Clark, and it seems to be a very cost-effective way to procure the materials. Right now, the rolls of 475 towels are running about $60 shipped, which is a great deal. It comes out to about, 12, 13 cents a mask for this portion, which is awesome. So the other parts that you're going to need are some t-shirt ties. And you can see on one of our other videos, there's instructions on how to make the t-shirt ties. Make sure that before you measure, these are pulled out nicely. You don't want to give them a death grip because you want to leave a little bit of give in there for a wearer that needs a little more room so that they can just pull those out to provide a little better fit. But, you just want it nice and pulled out and relaxed. And then you're also going to need 2 to 3 bread ties. And if you go in with another organization or some groups, you can get a case of bread ties at a restaurant supply place, and you can have just tens of thousands in a case that will last you a good long time. So these, you'll notice that these are taller than they are wide. I think they're about 13 1/4 by 12 1/2, if I remember right. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to orient it so that it is taller than it is wide. And then I'm going to measure about 7 inches wide. And you could make them 6 1/4 and actually get 2 out of each sheet. But it's so efficient as it is. I think having that extra width is good. So I'm going to just kind of take a look at where 7 is, and I'm going to fold it over, create a nice little crease so I have a demarcation for my cutting. And what's nice is it leaves you with an extra piece that is plenty large enough for a child-size mask, so you could actually get 1 adult and 1 child out of each sheet, or you can keep the excess for filter material. In the cloth masks that I wear, I leave the bottom between the 2 layers of fabric open so that if I feel like I need a little extra filtration, I can open it up, slide one of these in, crease it down on those existing creases, and just provides another extra layer of protection. So I didn't do an awesome job cutting that. So, okay. All right, so here's my sheet, and I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half. The nice thing about this too is it provides some jobs, like if you have someone on your team that doesn't sew, they can prep these materials, get them folded, put them into kits, get them all ready to go for your seamstresses, and it gives people a nice place to help. So let's sew them together. So this is a design that June Moreland, a wonderful seamstress and community worker in Pendleton, came up with, and I just think it's a really good one. So I've got my t-shirt ties, which I measured out and cut to 7 inches. I've got my 3 bread ties, and I've got my folded piece of paper towel, and I'm going to try to center these as good as I can. And, you could pin those if you wanted to. I kind of just wing it, can feel it in there. And I'm going to zigzag over that a couple of times. And I don't worry about Let's see. So as you can see, I worry a little more about getting it just firmly sewn on than I do about having it look really fancy. So you can see that here's my zigzagged bread tie inside there. And then I'm going to take one end of the t-shirt tie and unfurl it and put it underneath I find that it's easier if the curl is kind of facing down. And I put that in about 3/4 of an inch inside there, in between the two layers, up at the top. And I'm going to put my first pleat in. And this is where I want to make sure that this line stays nice and straight, because it's very easy for it to get a little curve in it. So I'm going to stitch about, I don't know, about 3/8 of an inch from the edge. Put it back on a straight stitch. And then I'm going to, before I get to the next pleat, I'll put that second one in. The other thing to keep track of is try to make sure that one layer doesn't ride up substantially higher than the other. You want to keep these relatively close together. And then once you get into that second one, you can put your third pleat in. Okay, so when you get ready to put your third pleat in, don't get excited, put your pleat in, sew it down, and forget to attach your last tie, which is exactly what I just did. The nice thing is this material is stout enough. I was able to rip that out, and I'm going to resew it. So I'm going to place the bottom one in. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a border, but not too much. You want them fairly close to the top and the bottom. I'm going to put that last pleat in. And what's nice is it really does, my machine anyway, really does sew over this material just like butter. So I'm going to trim my things here. Okay. And then I'm going to use the pleats that I already made to kind of crease the ones on the other side, so that I can match those up nicely so it has some symmetry to it. Each one might be a little different depending on how you do your pleats, but you want it to end up, what is that, about maybe 4 inches or so. And so then I'll just go ahead, get my other tie, unfurl the end, place that in there. And again, make sure that I'm careful to not forget to secure the end of my tie. You could just do these on the outside, but it just is a little bit cleaner. I think it'll stay put a little better. They just look a little nicer. Well, okay. And what's nice is that is all there is to it. What I do is I go ahead before I give them away and I kind of set that nose slightly just so people get the idea that that's kind of how it's going to go on. they can futz with it a little bit. But that just makes a really nice over-the-ear fit. For some reason, these are the only ties that I can get to fit over my ears and stay properly. I think it's because this is so lightweight that it just kind of stays where it needs to be. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you got something out of the video and would like to give a little back to the Art Center, we would happily accept. You can go to our website, pendletonarts.org, and leave us a little donation if you feel like it. But more importantly, we hope that you make these, distribute them in your community, and everybody stay safe out there.